team in between the pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we're going to talk football today.
Oh my God, you're
Oh
hype.
my God. All right, listen, I have vertigo. From the quarterback carousel of the past 3 weeks.
Man, it has been exciting.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Like, the NFL is the new NBA with all these trades and moves. It is absolutely wild. So we're going to talk about that. We did our rankings last week for each team, and that was pretty fun, A through F. And then after that show, Matt Ryan moves, Deshaun Watson moves. We don't know where Baker's going to go, but he'll probably be moved by the time we're doing a show next week. Absolute chaos. I don't know where to start. Let's start with Baker. Okay, where is Baker's value? What do we think about Baker? Is he worth more or less than a nice, crispy piece of toast?
Yeah, I love toast. I differ from, I think, the general consensus on this Baker. I've been a Baker stan for a long time. I've always kind of had his back, always stood behind him, been there, just, even when it's kind I'm
pretty sure you were in the video where he was running from the police. I remember that.
Yeah, I was there for him saying there's another side to this story, So, there's been a lot of stuff come out against him lately, and I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet on him again. I think a change of scenery could be good. He was the one, let's not forget, who formally requested this trade from the Browns. And what I do believe, because remember, with this Deshaun thing, so they pursued Deshaun, brought him in for a visit. Then the Browns were out of it all of a sudden, just out of the running. And then the Baker drama started. So I think the Browns were doing that dabble, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They were like, oh, we really got to pay a lot for Deshaun. After they did that, they got a disgruntled Baker realizing that now maybe we got to pay that little bit extra that we didn't want to get the guy that we like anyways. Deshaun's a phenomenal talent, because you had already severed ties with Baker. It pissed Baker off to the point where, if you're Baker Mayfield, you were taking 1 overall, you are in your head, I assume he feels like he's the thing that kind of got this thing going in Cleveland. I'm sorry, I think that though.
Okay, I mean, look, he was taking 1 overall.
And they were coming off of a horrible run.
Same exact draft class that had, Josh Allen, who's a top 5 quarterback in the league. Lamar. Same draft class that had Lamar Jackson. So, you can say you were taking number 1 overall. You're probably the 3rd best quarterback in that class. But, I mean, he hasn't done enough to me to sit here and demand a trade, he hasn't done enough for the Browns to be completely in the wrong for looking into the Deshaun Watson deal, for kicking the tires on Deshaun Watson.
I think there's only 3 or 4 teams in the league who shouldn't entertain a Deshaun Watson deal. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, I don't really consider myself a Baker hater. I think he's a fine quarterback. I am a Ryan Tannehill defender, so I can't be a Baker Mayfield hater. Yeah. But I think they're in that same kind of ballpark for me. I mean, maybe Baker's a little bit better than Tannehill. I don't know. But, I think they're both in that same range. They deserve to be starters somewhere. On a good team, they'll probably be pretty good. But, I mean, I don't consider Baker Mayfield a guy who is elevating his team. He didn't make OBJ better. He didn't make Jarvis Landry better. He didn't make his tight ends better. He didn't make his running game better. And
what you could say, what is a run-first team? Yeah. That gives him a lot of weapons around him.
Arguably the best offensive line over the past 2 years in the NFL. Yeah. Paid the second most. I mean, the Browns were investing in the offensive line, investing in the offense. They had a great team on paper. So, I'm not sitting here I'm excited to see where Baker goes.
So what's the ceiling for him then? In your head, based off of what you've seen?
Baker Mayfield can win a Super Bowl. He absolutely can. But it's in the same vein that, Ryan Tannehill can win a Super Bowl if everything goes perfect. Can he be on a Super Bowl winning team, or can he win you a Super Bowl? Okay, he can be on a Super Bowl winning team. I'll put it that way. I don't think he's the guy. He's never going to be the guy that is making your team better. Okay. He needs an offensive line. We saw that in year 2 or 3 when his offensive line was trash and he regressed. I think that was year 2. He needs weapons. I think he needs a good run game, and we saw that in Cleveland. We saw success in Cleveland. I do think from a character perspective, I do think I never got the sense that he was a childish player or that he wasn't an adult or or anything. I know there were some of those things.
Fairly cocky at times. But
yeah,
I mean,
but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of almost want that chip on your shoulder type.
So I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, if he goes to another team and flames out, it's not going to shock me. But if he goes to, like, the Steelers, make a whole lot of sense to me for a Baker Mayfield, right?
Okay.
Like, if he goes to the Steelers, fits in that environment, and is able to work within the confines of that team and become a good starting quarterback for the Steelers over the next couple of years, that wouldn't shock me either. I don't know what's going to happen.
So give me the team where he thrives, and I'll give you the team where he dies, because I know which one for me.
I mean, I have the team where he dies a lot faster than the team where he thrives. Oh, Seattle's a great one. I was going to say Atlanta. Atlanta makes I just think if he goes to Atlanta, he has no help around.
No, you're right.
He's got a Kyle Pitts who, like, I love Kyle Pitts, but I feel bad for Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts went to a really, really, like, a team in need of talent, and the team spent a lot of draft capital on a luxury pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So, at a time when Pitts will not be able to be of true production.
Yeah.
Success-wise, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, and it sucks. It really sucks. So like, I don't know. I think you're right. Falcons, Seattle makes a lot of sense as a place where, like, Seattle would probably entertain that, right? Like, you would love to see him and Drew Lock fight it out for number one for the top pick, and he would probably beat out Drew Lock. You love to see him fight it out. Like I said, the Steelers make a lot of sense to me. I know that's interdivision. That's where it gets a little dicey, but I mean, you'd love to see them fight it out with Mitch Trubisky.
At the end of the day, though, are the Browns that, I guess, intimidated by Baker's presence? That just depends.
I wouldn't want to play him twice a year if you're the team that did him wrong, and his head did him wrong. I don't really feel like they did, but you're right. I don't consider Baker like he's not Deshaun Watson. They won't trade him to the Titans or the Colts. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like it's not that type of player. It'll be interesting. So let's get back to the original question. Yeah. What's he worth?
I'm going to say, and this is me being on the pro Baker argument, I'm going to say he's worth a second. But I'll be honest with you right now, from the buzz that I'm hearing and stuff, I think the Browns are going to have to give Baker and a pick to get a second to third.
I mean, that would make sense.
I'm not sure what pick. I think it's going to have to be one of those 4th, 5th, or 6th, just a low thing.
And it's also one of those things where, like, everyone knows that the Browns want him out. And everyone, like, they're not trading from, like, a high peak. Like,
what are you going to do? Keep both of them on roster?
If you only have one team that's really wanting Baker Mayfield on their roster, and that's it, they don't really have a lot of negotiating power. If you have a bidding war, maybe you get some negotiating power. But from a economic standpoint, I know you want to sell him, so I'm not going to pay top dollar for him.
If demand is not high, he's going to get cut.
Yeah. There's a real possibility. I mean, Jarvis Landry got cut. We've seen a lot of guys that demand wasn't where we maybe thought they could have been, and they got cut. I mean, shit, Amari Cooper went for a 5th round pick
because people knew the price tag, and people they had to let go of him.
Absolutely. And I believe that he's going into a 5th year option, so he is being paid fairly premium money with that 5th year, and then you have to kind of decide from there: do you keep him, do you not? But look, the Colts spent a 1st round pick on Carson Wentz for 1 year, basically.
Yes.
And granted, they got a little bit back for him after the fact, but it was like, that's what you do. That's what you do for a quarterback. The Panthers spent a 2nd and a 3rd on Sam Darnold. You go, like, you take shots for a quarterback. Yes, it's overpaying. Yes, it's all these things, but if you hit, you're really fucking happy you hit. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to do those things. I
was about to say, talking about hits, though, and you mentioned the team that already paid for a quarterback last year. They did it again this year. I think they nailed it with the Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I really do. Listen, I think Matt Ryan has always been an unsung hero on that team since his MVP year. Sure, he hasn't been MVP caliber numbers, but he has just nothing around him for what's been going for the past few years right now. Still putting up what it is, serviceable, I would say. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times we talk about a top 10, Matt Ryan is right there at the edge of it, but he never gets mentioned. We always talk about the Bakers. We always talk about the Kirk Cousins, the Ryan Tannehills, those guys. You don't hear Matt Ryan's name.
Well, he's ahead of those guys, I would argue.
Well, I don't hear it, at least. That's the unfortunate part. So where do you think when it stacks up to? Because I look at last year's Rams team making a Stafford push. I don't think it's that caliber, but I'm talking just one step down from a team that is good in the Colts compared to the Rams last year, getting the quarterback in a Matt Ryan, not a Stafford, but I think it's pretty damn close.
I think the biggest difference is, and you look at, just across football, really in life in general, when you move on from one thing, you try to almost get the opposite, right? So a lot of teams that have an offensive-minded head coach. They go out and get a defensive-minded head coach when that offensive-minded head coach didn't work, right? So for the Colts, you look at a team that had a Carson Wentz that reports are coming out, not all in, a little bit childish, on the field, very, very loose with the football, made boneheaded decisions, and really could not be coached out of it for whatever reason. Like it just seems like from everything I've seen, he's not really in love with the sport. He's not in love with sports in general. He's not in love with the culture. All of those things that's like you would like to see your franchise quarterback be in love with that. You don't have to be. I get it. He's still a fine player and is going to get another chance, but you want that. And when you have a team like the Colts that has a great offensive line, good, maybe not great anymore, but good offensive line, has a great running back, has pretty good weapons at the wide receiver position, has I would argue, great defense top to bottom. You want a guy who, first of all, is not going to make any mistakes, not going to throw an interception when you're in your own end zone against a division opponent that you need a win against. Talking about the Carson Wentz interception against the Titans that really shifted their entire season because it took them out of contention for the division, for a divisional win. So those are the plays you're not going to get. And I think off the field, you're getting a Matt Ryan who, from all reports, everything that we've seen, has been a stand-up leader in the locker room, has been a leader on every single level, and has been knows what it's like to be a franchise quarterback. Really isn't being like the Atlanta isn't moving on from him because he's terrible now. They're moving on from him because he is not the playmaker that maybe he used to be, and Atlanta has no talent around him right now.
He's not good enough of a difference maker to propel that team forward. His longevity's not there. You're going to get Stafford has a little bit longer to go to that. I just draw the comparisons because both on really bad teams for what it was towards the end right there. But both let go for reasons that wasn't regression-wise, I don't think. Matt Ryan's not the same guy that he was, but I think if he can play smart, he's always done that. If he can make the passes that he needs to, he's always done that, and sometimes more. This team can be scary. I put a bet in the other day for the Colts to win the division.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I really do. Especially like if they can stay healthy, and that's a big if for every team. That division has a lot of turnover. It's the first time a back-to-back's won since the 1970s in that division. Titans just did that. I don't see a three-peat coming. I don't either. I do agree, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What other quarterback changes have happened that you want to go to?
Well, Jameis stayed. And I really like that move.
I think that I think that was a good one too. Colts are kind of in a rebuilding era. You have Jameis as the placeholder right now, but Jameis obviously still believes he can be a starter, and I still have hope that it's a little bit like the Carson Wentz thing minus I do believe Jameis loves the game. Like I believe he loves it more than I'm getting the feeling that Carson loves it.
It was unfortunate the way that ended for him too.
He was playing pretty well.
Exactly.
He was. He got hurt, and there's nothing you can do about that.
The biggest one that we got to wrap it up with right here is the monumental trade that is the Cleveland Browns now with Deshaun Watson. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit with the Baker news, but not exactly how much this impacts the AFC. I think the AFC is the scariest damn thing we've seen on paper in years.
The Browns are division leader and a top 3 team in the AFC with Deshaun Watson at the helm.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I'm surprised you agree. Like I think it is the Chiefs
I love the
still.
Browns.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying I don't think a lot of people realize how huge this is.
Bills, Chiefs, Browns.
Exactly. Bills, Chiefs, Browns. Like I'm sorry, there's nobody else. Like Ravens, that's a good team in that division. You're gonna have to prove to me that you can beat Deshaun Watson twice a year. I don't think you can. I mean, even the Bengals, Super Bowl attendee, AFC champion Bengals. I'm sorry, but you have a tough game against Deshaun Watson in that Browns team. You got Amari Cooper there. I would like to see maybe one more weapon there. I know they want to bring back Jarvis Landry. That's still a possibility. We'll see what happens there. I mean, good offensive line. They're still spending a ton of money on that. And that defense is good.
I'm going to sound like a hater, man, but when I say the AFC North, that could go all the way worst to first to worst for that whole division. I love the Bengals a lot, but I think if the Steelers are somehow able to navigate the quarterback position, right now they have Trubisky. There's still a chance they could land a Jimmy G, or they could go get a Baker, whatever the case may be. That's a damn good team. Really good team. Who knows what's going to happen from where you have Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, and Browns.
It's going to be a tough. I can't take the Bengals. I can't count out
Joe. They go
Joe
first
Burrow.
to worst. No, of course.
I can't count Joe Burrow.
In that division, look at where it was last year. You're talking 7, 8, 9 wins came in last.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't mean that you were necessarily a disrespectful bad team, but the AFC is loaded. I think the Chargers are due. I think the Broncos are due.
Yeah. Broncos
we didn't even mention Russell Wilson right now.
Russell Wilson gets traded. You have Drew Lock over in Seattle now. Now Russell Wilson's a part of a ridiculous AFC West where Derek Carr, who is a solid quarterback, nobody can talk shit about Derek Carr, to me anyway, without me mentioning, hey, he's one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. Statistically speaking, one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. Wins in the fourth quarter and overtime. He's the fourth best quarterback in his own division with Herbert over there. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, we know what he is, and now Russell Wilson. I'm sorry, people are shitting on Russell Wilson over the past 2 years because he has had nothing around him. I know he's had good weapons and people forget, but like you still need an offensive line. Yeah. You still need a defense. You still need, help at other places. You still need play calling that isn't archaic. So, I'm really excited to see what happens with Russell Wilson. I absolutely love their head coach. I'm blanking on his name off the top of my head. Came from the Packers, originally with the Jaguars before that. Yeah. I'm blanking on it. You don't have it either, do you?
No, I did.
I lost it. I'm looking it up.
I did have it.
I got to look it up.
I was just about to say that we're really blessed with overall, quarterback play. Saying that now I think it's a true compliment to be a top Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah. To be a top 12 team. Right now, or a top 12 quarterback, it's crowded.
Yeah.
It is truly crowded. I mean, with Deshaun throwing his name back in there, Herbert is not going anywhere but up.
Legit.
Josh Allen fully cemented himself. I think Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, there's a debate right there for who could be the best in the game.
There's an argument. If you look at it pass for pass, Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that AFC Championship.
He did.
I mean, and that's not
Josh
that's
Allen
nothing
had
to
more
take
touchdowns
anything.
than completions. That's historic.
Yeah, that's not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes either. He played great. That's just how good both of those two are. I mean, it's ridiculously incredible to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how that little competition over the next 10 years. We're going to get it once pretty much every year, I would assume, and we're going to get it in the playoffs every year. That's what I'm expecting between the Bills and the Chiefs. And that's, like you said, not even to talk about all these other teams that are trying to dethrone those kings.
I have one thing to mention, and it has to do around the money. There's still the quarterback position, but the money that is paid to them. We have not seen a top 5 paid quarterback win a Super Bowl in almost 15 years now. Do you think there's anything that goes into that with the league and how to build a team nowadays? Or is it just the fact that one of the guys who is not a top 5 paid guy in Brady just so happens to have his name in about half of those Super Bowls for what it is? A lot of the times that they win it, it's a guy on that first year deal, then he gets the re-up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
are we? Yeah, no. I think that's a real conversation because I mean, we see all these teams. Obviously, this year the quarterback carousel was wild. All these teams fighting and vying for a top tier quarterback that can lead their team to a Super Bowl. But at the same time, it is. I mean, obviously, Matthew Stafford was on a fairly team friendly deal yes. after the trade. You have obviously, Joe Burrow going to the Super Bowl, maybe a couple plays away from winning one on a rookie deal. It does help to be able to pay other guys on those first couple years. I mean, that's what you want. You want a young rookie, 5 years of cheap play, basically, and maybe make a run. We've seen it time in and time out. And now Dak, if it really does feel like, okay, Dak Prescott missed it. Now he's getting paid. How are the Colts or how are the Cowboys going to build a team around him while having to pay everybody? It is interesting, and I don't know. Is that I do think the Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady easily could have been the highest paid quarterback. Does he still go to all those Super Bowls if he was? He could have been
year in and year out, but that's one of the things that might correlate to team success overall is being able to sacrifice that in some ways. The whole thing points to Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, those guys. It's got to break it right. One of them's got to get one soon, you would think, but since the mega deals have happened, we haven't seen that. Peyton Manning had a chance to do it, and then they got blown out by Legion of Boom years and years ago. By the time that he made it back against Cam Newton, the market had changed. Peyton was no longer a top 5 paid quarterback.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco won it, then he got the deal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. Russell made it whenever he was on the rookie deal.
He was young.
Big Ben made it to his in that time. Aaron Rodgers, all of them, man. There's a lot of times where you have your window before having to pay the guy big money.
It'll be interesting. Who's next? Who's next on that rookie deal still?
Next up on the rookie deal, Lamar's in negotiations right now, which could cripple the Ravens depending on how they're able to maneuver
well,
that
I'm
money.
saying who's on the rookie deal that's not getting paid.
We have Burrow and Herbs. I think
Burrow and Herbs are
the out of stars right now in the league that can take it and run with it. And if you want to somehow throw it out there, Trevor Lawrence for what I think is quarterback ability, far from it when it comes to team orientation.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the quarterbacks that didn't get moved for a second, or at least the teams that haven't made a move. I think the Carolina Panthers are a team we've seen since Matt Rule has been there. They have been, really since the new ownership took over, they have been trying their damnedest to go get a top quarterback. My theory, they have someone in the draft that they love. I think it's insane. I think it's Pickett. I really do. To me, Pickett still, I've been saying it through this whole time, he's the number one quarterback. He's the guy who I do think 2-3 years from now we're going to be talking about as an elite quarterback in the NFL. Like, he's the only one, in my opinion, in this draft class, and I know that's kind of a bold statement at this point. A lot of people aren't on that train, but that's okay. That is what it is. But are they kind of tipping their hat to, okay, we're going out and getting a rookie quarterback?
Man, it depends. I've heard a lot of different things about this quarterback draft class. Some saying that it's one of the worst ones that we've seen in 5-6 years. Yeah. And I don't know if there's a stud in this one. I would say I like Pickett a lot. I think Pickett and Malik Willis have the poise and leadership ability that you like to see out of an NFL quarterback. All of the top 4-ish guys have the intangibles and the athleticism and the different, what you want metric-wise to be a quarterback. But when it comes to just looking at how they play, I really like Pickett. And some of the measurables are against Pickett. People are making fun of his hand size. People are making fun of some of the other ways. At the end of the day, if you can ball, you can ball. Yeah. Pickett has that. I think Pickett to the Panthers is a really, really good move. I do.
But I'm more asking, are the Panthers definitely going rookie quarterback?
I honestly, with the way that Matt Rule has played his patience on they have tried to take some swings, and they've been in every single quarterback trade mentioned. But like you said, he's playing it safe. I feel like he's almost playing it like he knows with this long-term contract.
It's coming to an end, though.
No, it is. And he's got to make the shot. Yeah. The first year was like, hey, it's first year, you're good. Second year, it was the Darnold experiment. Yeah. Now we're on third year, right?
Yeah.
We're going into third year out of 5 or 6 or something like that. He had a very long deal, so he's about halfway through. The shot comes this year or next offseason. I'm not sure where it's going to be.
I don't think he has time for next offseason. He can't afford another mediocre year.
Exactly.
I really don't think he
can.
I really think this is the year for the Panthers.
It's just a bad year to have a quarterback that needs immediate success to propel you.
Yeah. But at the very least, if you get a Pickett, I don't think Malik Willis is a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. But if everyone else is telling me I'm wrong, fine, I'm wrong. That's fair enough. But if it's Malik Willis, if it's Will Pickett, or if it's any of the other ones, doesn't matter. Is that if you just get enough success year one to keep your job, I think that's a very real possibility, right? Like, you see enough, you have a Zach Wilson year. Zach Wilson obviously didn't light the world on fire, but he showed enough. He flashed enough where you're excited.
You saw the reason as to why he was drafted.
Exactly.
And I think that there's a chance. That's why I like Pickett and Willis. I think the explosiveness, the wow factor that can be out of those guys, different reasons, of course, can be enough to be like, that's why we got this guy, that's why we did it. And you know what? At the end of the day, if the Panthers are able to stay where they're at, not jeopardize their franchise by trading up for one of these guys, because, let's think about it. Deshaun Watson went for 3 firsts and a third. Trey Lance went for 3 firsts. And we have yet to see the 49ers even make that move, trying to go forward.
Where's Jimmy G going to go?
Where would you rather have? Would you rather have the Trey Lance, who is unproven, who, if anything, I could say he stepped on the field and was definitely not ready to take the reins by any means, or Deshaun Watson?
Oh, of course I'd rather have Deshaun Watson.
So if the Panthers are able to make their choice and be smart about it, and if they just use a first on it to take a Pickett or a guy that they really feel, totally fine with that. I don't think Rule's job depends on that as much as it does the trade.
Is there any chance, just looking at the draft, because the Panthers are at 6, is there any chance that the Texans at 3 or the Giants at 5 go ahead and take a quarterback? Obviously, Texans, I kind of like the kid out of Stafford.
I think Lions are in there too.
Lions at 2 as well. They're definitely in a quarterback situation. I would argue that the Lions would need to wait another year, but obviously, they're another one. There's 3 teams that realistically could take a quarterback ahead of the Panthers, and the Panthers have nothing to trade up for. They don't have a second or a third in this year.
One of the areas that I would watch for is knowing that the Panthers are gunning for a quarterback, I would say.
Yeah,
we have teams like the Falcons and the Seahawks sitting at 8 and 9. I don't think that there's a guy worthy of a jump in this one. Don't get me wrong. I think there's good quarterback play, but I don't know if it's worthy of a jump. But I know damn well that the Lions, Texans, and Jets have been vocally
trying to move out.
Yes, trying to move out. Yeah. There's room for it right there. They could think the Panthers want to get their guy, and if the Falcons or Seahawks are in love with Willis, I've heard both of them are in love with Willis. I haven't heard much about Pickett recently, not saying anything bad about him. I've just heard a lot. Today was Liberty's pro day. Heard a lot of good. Today's the day to talk about Willis if you're going to. Heard both teams love him. they might do it. I don't know.
And then that's where we differ. I do believe if I'm the Falcons or the Seahawks, I do believe Pickett is the guy that's worth trading up for. If I'm the Lions and I see Pickett on the board, I probably really think about it. But that's how much I like Pickett. I believe in Pickett the same way I believed in Zach Wilson last year.
I like Pickett more than Will. Pickett is my QB1 in this class. I just think Willis has something to
we're
go
not disagreeing. I just was looking at it from a Panthers
just a damn bombshell dropped on us on a Matt Corral. There could be an absolute. We just haven't heard a lot about this one. This class is unique. To say that we don't know which way it's going to go, I think it's going to be one of the more entertaining drafts just because
it's gonna be fun.
There's not a lot of top-tier talent.
It'll be interesting to see. Going back to the 49ers with Jimmy G, there's a handful of quarterbacks that still feel like they're in waiting. We talked about Baker a good bit. Jimmy G, look, we talked about it when this trade happened for Trey Lance. We talked about it midseason. We talked about it after the season. The 49ers were not that far away from going to the Super Bowl, right? With Jimmy G at the helm. And I would sit here and argue, I watched that Rams 49ers game, NFC Championship. I don't think Jimmy G was like the only reason they lost. Like, I don't think it was, man, they were a good quarterback away from winning that game. That's not where I looked at it from. Maybe, and granted, I never went back and rewatched that, so maybe I'm way off base on that. But are they absolutely trading Jimmy G? Obviously, there's been conversations out there. Are they absolutely going to go into the regular season with Trey Lance as their number one guy, nobody else behind him? Well, what's the plan? And it does seem like nobody's, trading for Jimmy G right now. Nobody, and he's a very team-friendly quarterback deal at the very least. It's just interesting. It's interesting.
I think a solid 4th or 5th round pick gets you him right now in the market with the way that it is. But I don't know if the 49ers should be so vocal about ready to move on.
Why are the Giants not making that move for a cheap pick to go get a starting quarterback? Why? I mean, maybe the Giants aren't the greatest pick, but like, why are the Steelers? Why are the Falcons? Why are all these teams that like don't clearly have a number one? Panthers, another one. Even if you are early in the draft, and even if you can go get a rookie quarterback, Jimmy G can be a stand-in for a rookie behind you, or have him be behind the rookie. Either way, I just don't understand why he hasn't been moved yet.
It's weird to think that maybe the 49ers are holding on to Jimmy G a little bit more than what they're willing to let go of him for. It just depends on where that goes. There's a lot of jobs resting on this 49ers deal right now. There's a lot of speculation as to when they're going to put Trey Lance out there. I can say this, based off of that playoff game that I saw, there was not a moment where I saw Jimmy G make a play that I could have said Trey Lance would have done better, other than some athleticism about maneuvering the pocket maybe. Yeah. That's what Trey Lance can bring to you.
49ers said, this is a rumor, nothing guaranteed, but 49ers have been offered 2 second-round picks for veteran quarterback per report.
He'd be gone tomorrow. If that was true in my head, I think he'd be gone.
Most likely, there's no report on who did it, saying most likely Carolina Panthers. Seattle Seahawks makes sense. That's a team I didn't think about.
But that's in division.
That's in division. I mean, you're right. I get it. But I mean, we've seen quarterbacks go in division. I mean, it was Donovan McNabb got traded in division. I mean, it happens. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And I don't think Jimmy G's been there 3 years, so it's not like he has a legacy in this division. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say legacy wise, but I do think that you would probably try to stray away from that. And if the Seahawks are down, let them be.
For real.
Let them be.
I mean, I do get that.
I got a guy kind of away from, not kind of away, it is away from this Garoppolo, but it's a quarterback nobody's talking about. It's a quarterback who I know you are a very, very vocal person behind. You already know where I'm going.
I don't.
Oh, wow. I think a 2nd round pick for Jordan Love right now in this market with different quarterbacks that we've seen, I would be okay with that. If I'm a team, you have the Packers who just took care of Rodgers. They kept him on there. So we're talking Jordan Love's going to play out the entirety of his first round pick contract on the bench right now.
Listen, I've said this since the beginning, and I remember getting a lot of shit for it when I first came out because I was a little bit too eager to love Jordan Love, and I'll give myself that I was overzealous on him during the draft process. But I always considered him a late first round, very, very high ceiling type of guy, and whether or not that works out or not, but he's now had 2 years behind what I would consider the most talented quarterback in the NFL right now. So I can only imagine that's good things for him. I can only imagine that wherever he does go, whenever he does get a shot, because he hasn't had one yet. I don't think the one game that he got to play in for the Packers when Rodgers was out is a good enough sample size to really decide if he's good or not.
Good plays out of
we saw good plays. He saw bad plays too, but like I mean, at the end of the day, he hasn't really gotten a chance to play. So yeah, I don't get why nobody's kicked the tires on him. I don't get why the Packers haven't sent him away just to make Aaron Rodgers happy. Aaron Rodgers is there for the next 4 years.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. It is strange.
100% there. There's definitely room in this quarterback market to be moved for him. And so I'm going to put you on the spot kind of here. Might be tough, but where would you put Jordan Love in this quarterback class coming out?
So I'm lower on...
Probably right below Pickett.
Yeah, I think I would. Look, so I considered, I'll put it this way, I considered Trey Lance and Jordan Love on the same tier. And Trey Lance got so much more buzz because Trey Lance was on a better college team, but like they were both low-level schools where you saw a lot of physical ability. I would say, Trey Lance maybe a little bit higher
because he was just got the boss up on nobody.
Yeah, and also he was definitely more accurate than Jordan Love. But I also would have sat here and argued that Jordan Love had a little bit better arm. So like I don't know. I don't know. I would have put them in the same tier. I probably would have put Trey Lance higher, but it would have been in the same tier. So in this draft class, Trey Lance is probably my number 2, just because that's where we're at. He would be behind Pickett, so I guess Jordan Love probably in that same range.
I'm just saying,
that's a bad draft class.
No, it is. It's a bad draft class.
Yeah.
But if you can get a guy whose value in your head is a mid to late round first, Jordan Love, unproven, we haven't seen it yet. Give him a chance for a second round pick. And you might be able to twist the Packers' arm and do it for a little bit less, just because, like we said, when you have supply and demand, you have Aaron Rodgers for 4 years. And I'm sorry, I don't care what type of weather it is, which way the sun shines, the wind blows. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback in Green Bay for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's just where we're at with it.
Absolutely.
So Jordan Love might be on the move.
It makes too much sense, honestly. I absolutely agree. Is there anybody else that we're missing that could be on the move?
Quarterback wise, I don't think so.
I thought for a second you were going to go Marcus Mariota and talk about him.
No, Mariota's at the Falcons.
Being a starter.
No, Mariota's at the Falcons. I do think the reuniting with Arthur Smith, there could be a little bit more something behind it than what people are saying about him being not the guy, but the lame duck transition.
Yeah, I think he's definitely lame duck transition. If I'm Marcus Mariota, I guess you're excited to be a starter. You think you have it. I get that. And I'm not here to shit on Marcus Mariota. I think he's an awesome backup quarterback.
A read option with him and Cordero?
Yeah, look, I think there's some positives there. But, man, why would you want to be there with what we've already said is a below average roster? Why if you're the Falcons, do you want him? You're truly just saying, okay, he's our lame duck quarterback in a year that we're not trying to win.
I think he's cheap.
Is this is the second year for their head coach Arthur Smith? This is the second year for Arthur Smith. Does he get to have an absolute dud of a year and still come back next year or the year after that?
I think he does.
I mean, I would hope so, because I mean, you look at this roster, he deserves time to actually build a roster around it. But I mean, 2 lame duck years in a row, basically.
No, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him when it comes to that, but I do think that he's allowed the time.
Hopefully, because I mean, look, you drafted a tight end 4th overall last year, so you didn't think last year was a rebuild year. You thought last year was a push year. I'm sorry, that's what that means.
You're right.
If you're drafting a sexy piece in the top 5, that's you think you're pushing.
They tried to run it with Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley and see what they had.
So now you're trying to tell me that, okay, this is not a push year anymore. We're trying to rebuild. Obviously, everything they've done throughout this offseason has been rebuild moves. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I feel a little bit bad for him as far as like where he's getting to be. I would have loved him to have gotten the same kind of, situation that Tannehill got. I know it's touching in the same exact team, but Tannehill got to be on a good team behind a starting quarterback that was struggling. And then Tannehill got the chance and never gave it back up. I would have liked Mariota been in that boat. So maybe on a Mariota on a Steelers, where he could have been competing with Trubisky. That could have been an interesting conversation throughout offseason. If Trubisky struggles, hey, Mariota's right here. He might be the guy.
Yeah,
like that. That's if I was Mariota, I probably would have preferred that. So I mean, and I would have preferred that for Mariota. I don't know, man. It's just so interesting. All the quarterbacks. Did we miss anybody? Carson Wentz on the on Washington.
We talked about him at the Commanders just a little bit.
Say hi to Copper.
I don't think he's gonna. He's saying hi to you. I don't think he's gonna do anything crazy there. I think the Commanders honestly made a pretty bad move. There's nothing about them that is intimidating at this point, and I've continuously said that they're a quarterback away. I feel like they're still a quarterback away.
Where are they drafting? What's their? They're 11. They're not. It's not crazy to me that they could trade up and go get a guy.
You're right. No,
I would freaking love them to go grab.
They're in a Matt Corral or whoever falls range.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever happens on draft night that could get a little weird. There's a chance that they could go make that move and do it.
But do you want a Carson Wentz who has been, kind of panned for being not the professional that you want him to be as a starter, teaching a young guy how to play the quarterback position in the NFL? I don't think you would want that.
I don't
either. I don't think that's healthy.
I really respect Ron Rivera and what he does in a locker room.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. Maybe that narrative.
Hopefully he can get the most out of Carson
exactly.
too. Yeah.
But we said that with Frank Reich.
If Frank Reich can't do it, nobody can. In my opinion, I'm out on Carson.
I believe in that. I think that he can scheme stuff around enough, especially with the pieces there. If we saw it, listen. At the end of the day, though, Carson Wentz went 28-8 touchdown interceptions.
Yeah.
That's not as bad decision making as what.
You're right.
When you hear the label bad decision making, and I saw that stat, I was like, well, was it really that bad?
Yeah, he made a couple bonehead plays here and there.
And that's the difference, is 4 of those picks lost you a game.
Yeah, no, I mean you're good because you can talk me in and out of the conversation with Carson Wentz. I love the potential, I really do, I still do, but it is tough to talk about him and not talk about the negatives of it. And I do think it wasn't just what was on the field that was negative. I'm trying to find, because you were talking about the bets. I want to end it with just talking a little bit of football bets, but I can't find.
I wanted to cover some of the last big deals that happened.
Oh, where are we at?
We have a Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Monumental trade over to the Raiders now with the Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr. The AFC West is locked and just freaking loaded.
Yeah.
Good to go. We have Allen Robinson signing with the Rams. I think there's a little bit of something there. We have Robert Woods and the Titans. I don't know what it is with the Titans thinking that they can just be the second chance ACL team. Mm-hmm. That scares me. I think Robert Woods has a lot of good football left to be played. They got rid of him for nothing, so the Titans paid nothing for him. That's totally okay. I'm just saying I think they need a little bit more to keep with them for that wide receiver room. But there's been some deals go down. Vikings got Zadarius Smith today. I think that we have a dynamic duo now in the pass rushing game.
Dolphins got a tackle.
And Dolphins paid Teron Armstead.
Let's go.
Would not have guessed that he would have gone to y'all.
Oh, why not? We needed him.
I don't want to hurt you, but I thought he was going to go to a competitor.
Competitor? We're not a competitor.
Keep on dreaming.
We got a good defense.
Kenny Pickett at plus 220 for first quarterback selected.
Total wide receivers drafted in the first round. Over, under 5. I would have said under.
I'm going to say under.
I mean, yeah, there's not 5. I don't think 5 wide receivers go in the first round.
No, I don't think. I think 5 could go. I don't think 6.
Yeah, that's the first offensive lineman taken. Evan Neal at even money. Gotta like that.
I think it's Akeem.
I do too, but even money for Evan Neal when I think they're really close together.
Yeah.
First cornerback taken. The fact that Andrew Booth Jr. is at plus 5,000. I'm about to put 50 on that. Andrew Booth Jr. is the best.
Bro, that would win you 5,000, right? $2,500.
Andrew Booth Jr. is the best corner in this class. I
like Sauce.
100% on Andrew Booth Jr. I do not think I'm crazy on that at all. Andrew Booth Jr. is the best corner in this class.
I have stood by Sauce from the beginning.
I like Sauce a lot.
I think it will be Sauce, but Booth is sneaky good.
Yeah.
He's going to be a good corner in the league.
Sauce is just too small. Heen Gardner is
tall but lanky.
Yeah, but tall and lengthy. Yeah, absolutely tall and lengthy. But that's the fear I have. There's a negative with him. I don't have any negatives with Booth. And look, what the fuck do I know? I get that, but that's where I'm at. 50 to win 2,500.
We're pretty much talking
awesome.
About Hutch being locked for the one.
Hutch is the number 1 pick.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at now. It's amazing how far we've fallen with the other dude who's Thibodeau. Not even.
Dude, I told
Thibodeau's not even the number 2.
I said it a while ago, man. Thibodeau was he's not even listed. Thibodeau is making a fall in this class.
Plus 1,400. Yeah, and I do think it's it's his effort. It's off the field. His physical ability is among the top in the league.
He's a prototype. It's just a matter of
what are you actually going to get out of him? So yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, and that's part of the things that you just no one ever really knows. So it'll be interesting. This is something that's weird to me, and just looking at the odds over here on FanDuel right now. Where are we at? So
there's no real directive for the number 2 overall pick right now.
The number 2 overall pick,
the Lions.
It is the Lions. I'm looking for where's Kenny Pickett? Okay, so Kenny Pickett's right here at plus 3,000, and then the next quarterback. Where's
Malik Willis is the favorite?
Is Malik Willis up here? Okay, never mind. That's not that weird then, because I was gonna say Kenny Pickett at plus 220 over Malik Willis. Malik Willis is now the favorite to be the first quarterback in this class.
I'll be honest. I'm here for Malik Willis at the number 2, but I do not think that's a good bet for your money.
The Liberty quarterback, man. I mean, I like him. I get it. I do think he has potential, and I get that NFL teams are starting to fall in love with the physical potential of guys like this. I don't know.
Strong arm,
we'll
too.
See. Strong arm. Big, yeah, he has a big arm. I don't know. I guess I really do need to go back and look at him because I still haven't, and we've talked about him for a while.
My favorite player by far and away, though, Kyle Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And I think if you scroll down a little bit, they have his draft position at 6.5. I was looking the other day. He is a lock for the under on 6.5. There is absolutely no way he falls to 7. I refuse to believe that, regardless of any.
Oh my God! Under it, it's 8.5 now.
That's sauce.
Oh shit! Where's Kyle Hamilton? Okay, 6.5. You're right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would take the under on that.
He's a lock for that.
Yeah,
he's a lock.
Oh, absolutely. I think he can go third. I think his fall is to the Jets at what, 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the worst, the Giants' second pick at 6. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Giants pick it's 7.
6 and yeah, so 6.5 because the Panthers are going to go quarterback most likely. They're definitely not going to go corner. So it's really, is he a top 5 pick or not?
I say yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Ability wise, yes.
But he's a safety.
Team
need
safety. Exactly. Team need wise, I don't know.
Yeah. Anywhere else you want to go with? It's Derek Stingley at 12.5. Yeah, I think that's really tough. I struggle with Derek Stingley. He's a tough because physically he should be the number 1, and I've seen the play from his freshman year.
The Vikings pick at 13.
12. 12.5 is tough.
There's no way he falls past us.
There's no way. I think if no cornerback, a cornerback's going to go before 12.
Yeah, cornerback's going to go before 12. I think if Seattle doesn't do the quarterback thing, they're going cornerback.
Yeah.
And the Jets right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't know, man. It'll be interesting. It'll be really, really interesting. Anywhere else you want to go with this? I'm sure we'll touch on this again. We'll talk about NFL draft bets at least one more time.
Of course,
but I wanted to talk about it just really quick. We'll end it right here. We're 40 minutes. We were planning on a 30-minute pod. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see Derek Carr to Adams. I think that's going to be fun. I know we didn't really touch on that too much. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week. Peace.
7.